Okay, so now we're just going to continue practicing, and we're going to combine the terms below, and we're going to write our answers as radicals. So we have different radicals inside here, right? If I look at number 18, I have a cube root in my numerator and a square root in my denominator. So you always want to put things into exponents, do all the math, and then convert backwards to a radical at the end. So we're going to turn these into exponents first. So I have x to the 5th in my numerator, and it's a cube root, so I'm dividing that by 3. X cubed in the denominator, but it's inside a square root, so it becomes 3/2. Okay, when I divide with the same base, I'm going to subtract their powers, so 5/3 minus 3/2. Let's go off to the side to do some fraction work. So my common denominator is going to be a 6. Make our pen a little narrower too. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by 2 to get 10, and this fraction by 3, so I get that 6 back in the bottom and a 9 in the top. So now I'm going to get 10 minus 9 is 1 over 6. So I'm going to get x to the 1/6 power. And then the question asked us to rewrite them as radicals. So now I'm just going to convert back to a radical. So I have x to the 1st, and then the denominator is a 6, so that means my radical has an index of 6. So overall, I get the 6th root of x as my final answer here. So now these can show up in a variety of ways. So like number 19 looks awful, right? Look at it. You have 2 different radicals with an x cubed on the inside. Okay. So let's maybe use some color coding here so we can kind of see what's going on. So I have a 5th root on the outside. So this 5th root will totally match the colors. Let me switch screens. There we go. All right, the 5th root becomes an exponent of 1/5. Right, think 5th root, 5th power, right, 1/5. So then we have a 4th root on the inside, and we have x cubed inside of there. So on the inside, I have x cubed, and that's inside a 4th root, so we get 3/4. So the way you want to think about this is you want to work from the inside out. So I rewrote that inside root as an exponent, and then that outside root, we're just going to write as a simple exponent outside all of that. Okay, so now when I go to simplify this, right, I have power to a power, so I'm going to multiply my exponents. I'm going to get x to the 3/4 times 1/5. So now with multiplication of fractions, remember to go straight across. So 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 5 is 20, and then we need to rewrite this as a radical. So I have a 3 in the numerator, so that means I have x cubed, and a 20 in the denominator, which means that I'm going to have a 20th root here, so my index is 20. So that kind of looks weird. I'm going to rewrite that a little better. There we go. Right, just a little neater there for us. So our final answer is the 20th root of x cubed. Okay. Switch back to our normal colors. Okay, so here we have 2 different radicals again. We're multiplying between them. So the first thing we're going to do is rewrite these as exponents. So I'm going to get w to the 8th, but it's inside a 5th root, so it becomes 8/5. And now here, remember, there's no exponent here, so I'm going to put a 1. So I get 1/4 since it's inside of a 4th root. When I'm multiplying with my bases, I'm going to add my fractions. I'm going to add my exponents here. So again, I'm going to go off to the side to do some fraction work. So my least common denominator between 5 and 4 is going to be 20. So I'm going to multiply my first fraction by 4. So I get 32 in my numerator. And my second fraction I need to multiply by 5. So I get 5 in the numerator. 32 plus 5 is 37 over 20. So I get w to the 37 over 20. Okay, so now we have to rewrite this as a radical. So this one's a little tricky. So normally I really don't like mixed numbers because I think that they're not super great. But in this case, we kind of want to think about this. Okay, so let's just rewrite it first. Maybe that'll be too confusing. So we have a 20th power in the denominator, so I have a 20th root again, and W37 as my exponent. Now, 37 is bigger than 20, which means I can break this down. So I have the 20th root. I'm going to make this W to the 20th on the inside and W to the 17th. So now I can bring W to the 20 to the outside. Right, so I bring W20 out, but I'm going to divide by that index of 20. And then I still have a 20th root of W to the 17th power. So 20 over 20 becomes 1, so I get a W on the outside times the 20th root of W to the 17th power. Right, there we go.